You used a phrase once, $0 billion markets, that $0 billion markets are your favorite markets.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
If you take a step back, our purpose, almost all of our purposes, should be to go and do something that has never been done before, that is insanely hard to do, that if you achieve it, could make a real contribution. I know your company does that. I try to do that. And if that's the case, it hasn't been done before, it's incredibly hard to do, it's probably, and it's never been done before, that market is probably $0 billion in size because it has never been done before. I'd rather be a market maker, market creator, than a market taker. You know, to create something new that never existed before versus thinking about share. I don't love thinking about share. I don't like the concept of share. And the reason for that is because if you think about it in the big picture, Stripe existed out of thin air. You vaporized, you created something out of vapor. It wasn't as if there was another, something else. And so I'd like to think that we can come up with something that is $0 billion. And a $0 billion market is a good way to cause the company to think about how to go create something for the first time.
So our mission is to grow the GDP of the internet, and I mean the GDP of the internet kind of clause in that usually gets most of the attention, but I think the most important part is just the verb grow. Yeah. Because to your point, we shouldn't be thinking about, which are the transactions that are already happening or which are the businesses that already exist. We should be thinking about which are the transactions that don't exist and which are the businesses that don't exist.
Exactly.
The GDP of the world is around $100 trillion, but it doesn't have to be $100 trillion. It could be $200 trillion or $1,000 trillion.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And most of the value we're going to create over the next several decades are likely not limited by physical things, and so this is a pretty extraordinary time.
And so with this concept of $0 billion markets, if I'm, again, at Nvidia, am I coming to you with some proposal for some project, and maybe there's several $1 billion of CapEx involved, or it's a many-year pursuit or something, and there are no customers for it today, there's no demand that I can demonstrate for it, and you guys are just making a gut call to say that, yes, nobody's doing this today, we think they could, we think they should, and therefore we're going to pursue it.
Really close, yeah, it's kind of like that. And it's a gut call in the sense that your intuition says something as a starting thesis, but then you have to reason through it. And the reasoning of it is much, much more important to me than a spreadsheet. I hate spreadsheets because you can make spreadsheets do whatever you want. You can make any chart you want out of a spreadsheet. You just got to type in some numbers. And so I don't love spreadsheets for that reason. I love words for that reason. The words are reasoning. Tell me, how did you reason through this? What's our intuition? Why do we believe that matters? Why do we think it's hard? I like hard things because it takes a long time to do. And if it takes a long time to do, a lot of people who are, less committed probably won't do it. If it's really, really hard to do, it takes a long time to do. It takes a really resilient and a really dedicated, really committed person to go after it. And if it also takes a long time to do, you can kind of flounder around for a couple of years, nobody notice, And so I could be incompetent for several years, and everybody goes, well, who saw it,